What's up, everybody? It's Scott, your crypto bro, and I'm back with a big trade alert on ONDO. The real world asset space is going to grow into a $1 trillion industry. I'm going to show you how to get in early. You don't want to miss it. Let's go.
Hey, I'm Scott, and I've been a pro trader for 10 years. In these videos, I'm going to teach you everything I've learned so you don't have to learn the hard way. Remember to follow and share the channel, and also have your alerts on because I'm going to give you a lot of updates and you want to be the first to know.
Taking a look at coinmarketcap.com, we can see that ONDO Finance and Chainlink have recently partnered to bring financial institutions on chain. That is a huge deal because tokenized US treasuries are surging. Real world assets are going to be a huge part of the financial future, and here is how you can get your piece of the action. Taking a look at ONDO on the weekly chart, we can see that this coin actually surged a lot from the low to the high. When we take a look at the actual percentage move, it made a move 7,000% from the bottom to the top. What about now? ONDO is pulling back to major levels on the chart. Let me show you what I mean by that. If you take a fixed range volume profile of the entire price history, you can see that the point of control is at 79 cents. That's where most of the volume has occurred in this entire range. The value area low right now is holding at 57 cents. Perceivably, this is a good place to take a buying or a long position. That said, I had this liquidity down here marked out on my chart months in advance, and I was anticipating a move down to grab this liquidity. You see this big volume spike over here? That's liquidity, and I marked it out as liquidity. That's not all. This pullback was actually a nice Fibonacci retracement, and essentially what's going to happen, we're going to take a look at this Fib retrace. All right, we're actually going to go from the all-time low to the all-time high, and it pulled back to, this is actually the 886. Let me zoom in here so you can see that. This liquidity grab is into the 886, or it retraced 88.6% of that 7,000% move. All right, this is very common, by the way, for altcoins. That level was bought up. You see that huge buying pressure, okay? It was bought up. Now we're getting a retrace, and again, what we're going to look for is a nice long setup. Now, an aggressive entry is right here around 56 cents, all right? Remember, not financial advice, manage your risk. But an aggressive entry is right here around 56 cents, all right? Now, we're going to look for a little bit of confluence. I'm going to go over here to the Fib retrace from this low to the recent high. We bounced up to right here, and that's right into a 50% retrace, all right? Now, an even better long is around 45 cents, and the perfect long would actually be just a double bottom back down here around 26 cents.
Stay ahead of the game with real-time trade alerts. Hit subscribe and turn the notifications on so you're always the first to know about the latest stock and crypto moves. Your financial freedom is just one click away. Let's crush those gains together.
So when you see a setup like this, what you have to do is use patience and also use risk management, but you can basically look to take a position. Let me show you, long position. And in this range, you might just want to consider this red zone a buying zone, all right? What do I mean by that? Well, basically price is probably going to play around in this area. You're looking for a big upside move back to test the previous all-time high. So when you do this type of move, you're looking for a tag of this level, which is $2.14, all right? So you're essentially looking to buy in this red zone down here, all right? And looking to sell in the green zone. Pay yourself along the way. Essentially, a move like this, you're gaining around 277%, and you're only going to risk a small amount. I'd advise probably scaling in at 57 cents. If you get your move to 44 cents, great, you could scale in. And then if you get a move all the way back to test 26 cents, that's another good entry. If for some reason we don't hold above these levels on a weekly closing basis, you have to manage your risk, meaning you're willing to take whatever that loss is going to look like. You don't necessarily want to hold this if it were to just go down forever, all right? That's not how the trading works. So this is your long zone. This is your take profit zone. Your ultimate target is back here at $2.14. Now, let's talk about in the long run, all right? Because again, we're talking about a multi-decade, potentially 5 to 10 year trade. In the long run, you're actually looking for much higher levels on an asset like this. And I'm going to show you right now what you're looking for. So when we take the fib retrace and we go from this high down to this wick low, we're going to retrace that move, and we're looking for breakouts into $2.65, $3, $3.30, and ultimately higher up into the $4 range. All right, that might be this cycle, it might be next cycle, but again, you just want to take profits along the way. Now, for you traders out there, what we're looking for is an RSI cross up on the weekly to confirm upside momentum, and we're looking for RSI to break back above 40 on the weekly time frame. All right, right now it's at 36. So those are your technical indicators. You're going to pair in confluence with these levels on the chart that I've showed you. Quick note, this is actually in linear scale, not log. Okay, I'm not on log scale. I'm going to flip it to log real quick. The reason I use linear is because basically this is your log scale, which is fine, but ONDO is such a young asset. I like to look at it on linear scale and log scale. So on log scale, similar concepts apply. It's just that the actual fib levels will slightly change. All right, but the levels are the levels. That's been your trade alert. Look out for ONDO to make a big splash in the real world asset space, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Are you still late to every pump? Make sure you follow Crypto Bro Alerts on X and check out the free email list inside the FFA. Link in the description.